Hey everyone, this is Patrick, and it is time for another edition of Heavy Therapy. This is a collection update. I have about 6 albums to show you, 6 releases to show you, and a combination of new and old releases, some 2023 releases, and then something as old as from 1998. We are currently listening to one of the new albums I got in. We're listening to Grotesqueries and their debut full-length Vile Crematory. I believe the song that is currently on is Meet You with Chain, and then we'll head into side B as the collection update progresses. So, Grotesqueries are from Boston, Massachusetts. They put out a really killer demo EP in 2022 called Haunted Mausoleum, and they're back with the full-length, visceral, guttural, raw, fast, punky influenced death metal. Cool green translucent tape. It is a rule that if you see a new release coming out from Gory Records, you should check it out. Gory Records specializes in underground death metal. They put out nice packages, including this one right here. And yeah, killer death metal. So, let's go on. Next album I want to show is the oldest album that I am showing in this collection update. And this is Exhumed's Gore Metal, their 1998 debut. Full length, 13 tracks, 43 minutes and 23 seconds of music. They are from San Jose, California, and on this release it is Matt Harvey on vox and guitars, Cole Jones on drums, Ross Sewage on vocals and bass, and Mike Beams on guitars. Exhumed, especially on this album, is giving you Carcass worship, early Carcass worship. As Carcass was going into Swan Song, they have left behind their gore grind days for a while. At that point, Exhumed picks it up. This is definitely a gore grind release. Lyrics, it's funny how silly and cheesy the gore is, even though it's also, it's pretty disgusting to look at. But the head in the microwave and the hand is clearly, prosthetic, probably rubber or plastic of some sort. But just killer, low guttural mixed with sort of a higher pitched vocal style. Ross and Matt do the vocals on this release, and yeah, just a classic that I had to pick up. If you like gore grind, if you like death metal, Gore Metal by Exhumed is something you should check out. Let's do one final CD and then we'll move on to some vinyl. This is a 2023 release out on Gory Records as well. This is Act of Impalement with Infernal Ordinance. Killer, punky, doomy, riff heavy death metal right here. I think maybe the perfect comparison would be Undeath meets Gravesend. Undeath meets Gravesend for me is what Act of Impalement sound like, especially here on their 2023 album Infernal Ordinance. 9 tracks, 29 minutes of music. perfect length for this kind of music. They're from Nashville, Tennessee, and have been active since 2012. They have 2 full lengths out. They currently are a 3-piece band. So yeah, perfect song to song transition. Another band that they kind of make me think of is Street Tunes. So yeah, Autopsy meets Gravesend meets Undeath will get you to Act of Impalement out on Caligari Records. Definitely a little gem from this year. Probably if I would give it a rating right now, I would say it's an 8.5, 8.6 out of 10. So definitely worthy of a listen and a purchase if you're a fan of old school death metal. Alright, we're going to move on to a band that I have 3 albums to show you from. I almost did a review of their new album, but I will talk about it when it comes up. But I am talking about Horrendously, a death metal band from Philadelphia. They are comprised of Jamie Knox on drums, his brother Matt Knox on vocals and guitars, Damian Herring on guitars and vocals, and the current bassist is Alex Kulik. He's not on this album, but this is their debut full length. The Chills came out in 2012. 9 tracks, 43 minutes, and 26 seconds of music. And on the Chills, look at these song titles. They will make you think of a lot of different older 90s releases. Ripped to Shreds, Altars, The Somber, Desolate Winds even makes me think of Dissection a little bit. Flesh Rot. So yeah, this is a nod of the hat worship to old school death metal. This has the HM2 guitar tone. It's their most straightforward album, and it is my least favorite Horrendously album because of how they progressed. I like just how they progressed a lot more than what they first presented here. So yeah, they didn't have a bass player listed on this release, but they did already. They were already comprised of Jamie, Damian, and Matt on here. Actually, so the bass was done by Damian Herring on this release. So yeah, I really appreciate this release because they are clearly a young band at this point and super ambitious, and I think they wanted to show that they are well schooled, well educated in terms of what they're influenced by here. They want to play death metal. They want to show you that they can deliver an old school death metal package before they would break right through any kind of ceiling, self-imposed or otherwise, that the genre might have. So we're going to fast forward. They do have 5 full lengths. I don't actually own the second or third full length yet, but this does bring us to 2018's album, Idol. 8 tracks, 40 minutes of music, and this is them very, very progressive at this point. They've already dropped the HM2 guitar tone. They dropped that after the second album. Really nice gatefold here. Alex is in the band on bass at this point, and they deliver a killer progressive death metal album on Idol. Interestingly enough, the band themselves, according to a Decibel interview that came out a few months ago, I don't think they liked this album too much. I think they thought they were trying to show off. They was too pretentious. That was my word, pretentious. But they try to throw everything that they could possibly do inside each song instead of developing the songs as songs, according to the band. But I think this is one of my favorite Horrendously releases. Let's show you the variant. Very nice, sort of smoky green teal translucent vinyl, matches the album artwork. And speaking of the album artwork, let me try to get to you who the cover artist is, because he has done their cover art since the second album. Brian Smith, and you can find him at briansmithart.com. And apparently he doesn't work with too many other bands at all, so Horrendous gets this distinct style from this artist. This brings us to the new Horrendous album, Ontological Mysterium, out on Season of Mist. So what do we have here? This is 9 tracks, almost 38 minutes of progressive death metal. They kept developing into a band like this. Idol, their last album that I just showed, was the closest to this already before this one came out. I Command Me. Those are lyrics from the second track, the Chrysopia, the Archaeology of Dawn. This is fantastic. One of my favorite albums of the year. A 10 out of 10. I do remember when I first listened to it, I gave it a 9 because I just wanted there to be more, because I loved it so much. But the more I listen to it, man, it leaves you just so satisfied. Some of my favorite songs of the year, the last track, The Death Knell Ringeth, is probably my favorite track of the year. Cult of Shadow, brilliant song. I really like Preteration Hymn, which ends side A here. It's a slower, more doomier, almost a progressive rock song, but I still would think of it as more of a heavy metal influence death doom track. But yeah, one of my favorite albums of the year, my favorite Horrendous album. Really cool red with black marbled smoke variant, and I almost wrote a review, recorded a review. By the way, the band logo was done by Mark Riddick, which is a cool get for Horrendous. So, Ontological Mysterium, I basically understand the theme as, so ontology in philosophy means the study of what exists. And every day, with the James Webb Telescope, bringing back sort of findings that conflict, that confuse, that show what we don't know. So there's galaxies that are older than we thought were possible, based on what we knew about how galaxies formed and evolved. So yeah, Ontological Mysterium is like, I think it's both an exploration of, they don't know exactly what the band is going to sound like in the future. They don't know what's coming out of them. They're following their muse, following their inspiration, and making music, becoming whatever it is that they decide, that they feel like they are, that whatever they decide, whatever they become is what they become, without any preconceived notions. I think the last track in particular is kind of about that. If they're no longer the death metal band that you thought they were, that's your fault. That's your problem with having expectations, right, on somebody else's creativity, somebody else's world. I love Horrendous. I love this album, and yeah, one of my favorites of the year. Let's call it a 10 out of 10. Another album from this year that I really enjoyed is the final album that I will be showing today, and this was not on my radar. Never heard of the band until this year, till this release. This is Imperial Crystalline Entombment with Ancient Glacial Resurgence. 10 tracks, 44 minutes, 10 seconds of music, out on Debbie Morty Productions. Track 7 here, Savage Blizzard Stabbings. Awesome. So, this is black metal, but the riff style makes me think of, what's his name? Going blank, of course. Bob from Immolation. So, immolation style riffs, but definitely that also that early sort of Immortal style black metal riff style as well. Killer release. They are a 2-person project. We have Blink on guitars and Ice Sick Kill on vocals. I don't know who played the drums, bass, or whatnot. Very nice variant here, as you will see. That is really nice. It's showing up quite well here. And then side B is even different. Gotta like when side A and side B are different, yet similar. So yeah, I did go back and listen to their first album, and this is more heavier, more dense, more low end comes through in the production. So I like when my black metal is almost as heavy as death metal, and that's what this is. So a really cool release. And let me show you the sick artwork here on the inner sleeve here. Lyrics inside. Just a cool all around blistering fast Marduk Immortal style black metal with some death metal riffing a la Immolation and Bob. So this was the collection update for you. I had to take a break in the middle between my Horrendous albums because I had to take my dog for a walk. But I hope the cut in the video turns out okay. We are listening to Grotesqueries, Vile Crematorium is their debut full length out on Caligari Records. Thank you for watching. See you in the comments section, and as always, remember to stay heavy.